I just finished this great book that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's called "So You've Been Publicly Shamed" by John Ronson, and it's I would highly recommend it. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what he writes. First, he's a hilarious nonfiction writer. So it was written in 2015. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I finally just got around to it. So the book's about public shaming, the history of public shaming, kind of how over the centuries, people who care about justice have gotten away from the idea of public shaming because it was too cruel. It was a cruel and unusual punishment, a public shaming in front of everyone to throw, rotten fruits, vegetables at people's heads. But how it has resurfaced with online mobs. And John Ronson highlights a handful of victims, survivors of public shaming on Twitter and social media. So he begins by talking about this journalist who did something wrong. He plagiarized repeatedly. His name is Jonah Lehrer. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Disgraced journalist who's gets accused of plagiarism. He commits plagiarism, and his career is just over. And not just his career is over, but also his social life just gets upended from an online firestorm. And so he begins with someone who's guilty of something, a real crime, if you will, but a crime without much of a victim. And I guess there's a victim with plagiarism, but he's not a murderer, right? And this journalist just his life gets derailed. Then he goes to someone who her name is Justine Sacco, and she tweets on her way to on a plane to Africa a inappropriate and racist joke about AIDS and race. And it's off color, and she's just a normie. She's a normal person, and she makes this stupid joke to her Twitter followers of a few hundred people, and it gets picked up by somebody, and it goes viral while she's on this airplane. And when she lands, her phone has just exploded from texts and calls, and people worried about her to delete the message, and just how cruel the online mob can be. And she wrote something stupid on the internet, and she loses her job. She loses her career. It takes her years to get back on her feet. And it's just cruel. It's just cruel. She made a stupid joke to a few hundred of her followers, friends, randos on the internet, barely has a following. And she is just castigated as this racist, horrible person. She's not a horrible person, right? She just wrote a stupid joke on the internet, and it just it upends her entire life. And so he goes through a handful of these subjects who, and he doesn't excuse their actions. He just instead invites readers to really think about what the benefit of the mob is. What is the social justice benefit for the rest of us who criticized her quote unquote racism, right? Maybe you got a hit of dopamine for a second to think, oh, I'm better than this person. I would never write a racist joke on the internet. But that times millions of people, it just absolutely destroyed. At first, you would think, oh, whatever, it's the internet. You move on, it doesn't impact you. She says she can't get dates because as soon anyone who dates in the 21st century Googles their date just to find out, oh, she's this horrific racist. Right? She's a Klansman. She's not, right? She's not. She wrote something stupid on the internet. He wants you to think, to what benefit? Now, this was written in 2015. It has only gotten worse in the age of Trump. It has only gotten worse. Public shaming, outings, all of that. It's just a part of our culture at this point. And I just think in this digital age, we really need to think about like what we think the ethical implications of wielding online rage is. In each of us, it's not a governmental thing. This is about culture. Do we want a culture that wields online rage towards individuals that can upend their lives, their social lives, their careers, their families over a stupid tweet? And it really makes us think like maybe we should reconsider this online culture that we have. The book is So You've Been Publicly Shamed by Ronson. Highly recommend it. Talk soon.